Hey everyone. Yeah, sorry to start off with a really generic phrase like that, but I guess I really have nothing else to say. So, I've been rather bored lately for, well, obvious reasons. So, and this is some idea I've been floating around in my head, and I figured I might as well act upon it. Turns out I wasn't the only one that came up with this idea, as somebody already set up a template, so I guess I'll just start working on what they left off here. So yeah, this is a tier list for Tom and Jerry, obviously, ranking all the various iterations, versions, TV series, shorts, or whatever that's come across in like the I'm gonna assume 70 years that it's been around. No, 80. Yeah, I think it's been 80. Um, so I grew up watching, the classic Hanna-Barbera shorts, and I think we can all agree that it sits right at the top. So, like, normally people would save this for last, but you know what? Let's just cut the chase and not waste time. So yeah, um what should I say? There's I mean it really is just like a hallmark in theatrical animation. It was just really fluid. Like it was just pretty like fast paced and everything. Uh, man, I wonder if I should have got a script for this, but seriously, it's just pretty, just pretty blunt violence and everything. But they do it so intelligently that it just makes it one of the best cartoon series around that time, and it still holds up today. So, okay, I should probably get on to the next thing. So, um, we started with the best. So, how about we start off or continue with something atrocious? Because I like going back and forth like that. Oh, here we go. The Filmation Tom and Jerry. Yeah, this is some pretty um abominable stuff right here. Just there's so many animation errors. It's never really funny. It just kind of like seems like when you watch this kind of show, or when you watch this show, there's like two types of episodes where stuff just keeps happening to the point where you can't even care. It's just constant, you know, or it's just so incredibly slow and unfunny that, man, I haven't watched too many of these, but from the few I have seen, it's pretty bad. Like the facial expressions are just so um static and stiff, and often characters are miscolored in certain areas, and you'll just see a variety of animation errors and things like that. So definitely at the bottom. So what's next? Now this one, the Tom and Jerry show from 1975, I believe. You know what? it'd be kind of unfair for me to make a judgment on the show since I actually never watched an episode from this, but I think I'll put it on this tier list somewhere on this list anyway, just because I do know how it pretty much plays out. Like basically, Tom and Jerry are friends, and yeah, pretty much it. They're not enemies, so I mean, it pretty much goes against you know the fun of Tom and Jerry as a duo, right? Not to say that there wasn't um, episodes in the original theatrical shorts where they, kind of buddy up or anything like that, but you know, oh, and here's the other thing: the violence has been toned down, like just completely to the point where it's just absolutely lame. So, these two friends go around the world, on various adventures. And the closest they ever come to being like enemies is like when they're competing in a sport or some activity, and I guess like Tom will try to cheat or something like that. But other than that, they're pretty close pals. So I don't know. I guess since this was official, it, it officially came from the Hanna-Barbera guys themselves. I guess I would just put it in the middle right here. Ah, you know what? I hold a soft spot for this one. The Chuck Jones, Tom Jerry's. Um, no. Um, sorry for, sorry for kind of losing thought, but the animation I suppose wasn't as good as the theatrical shorts, but I mean, I guess these were theatrical shorts, but the original set. Um, so, but you know what? I really liked seeing Jones' style, being used on these characters. Certainly, they weren't these batch of shorts weren't as good as the originals, both in terms of animation and actual humor. But I think it actually is probably one of the best iterations to come around, in my opinion. It's just I don't know what it is, but I just find it, you know, uh, just very easy to go back and watch. Others would disagree. They would say that they're just boring, bland, and just another example of Jones's output being pretty unremarkable after he left Looney Tunes. But I still think it deserves, you know, being top. Now, yes, the gene. I never learned how to pronounce this guy's last name, but I'm gonna assume it's Deitch or Deitch. The gene Deitch or Deitch. I'm really not sure, but I'm just gonna go with Deitch. Kill me in the comments if that's wrong. Um, you know, certainly the animation was definitely not as good as these shorts. Pretty, although to be honest, like I actually kind of looked up the whole kind of production history going around this, and there were a real. It's not that his team was exactly inexperienced, but as an animation studio, I believe his H company was called Rembrandt Studios or something like that. Um, but I guess they didn't really specialize in this style of humor. I mean, Gage himself said that he was a UPA, um, you know, like he worked at the UPA and he didn't really um he didn't really I guess approve of this type of humor. Although um I mean he kind of came to change his mind as he started to work on it, but he still didn't. He still kind of looked down upon it, and that's why there's actually an episode in the DH era where they pretty much satirized the whole Tom and Jerry formula by, having in the cartoon's own words, having this mean, stupid cat and one adorable mouse fight, and you just give them few. So yeah, the short was called the Tom and Jerry Kit, and it just says you just have these two characters, and you give like a few things for them to kill each other with, and you basically got yourself a Tom and Jerry show. So he got killed off pretty quick because the head, the higher ups, one of the higher ups at MGM got replaced, and they shut down the series after looking at it and deciding that it was not up to their as after this guy decided this wasn't up to the standards of the originals. So kind of sad because it probably could have, with a bigger budget and some more time, they probably could have actually developed something a bit notable in the history of Tom and Jerry. A lot of people consider this one of the worst iterations of Tom and Jerry, but um, I think it did at least. I mean, I kind of believed that at the time too, but once I got exposed to some of the other stuff around here, I started to realize that just like the Chuck Jones Tom and Jerry's, that these were really more memorable than anything else that's been made. And you know what? There were some clever gags, and that Tom and Jerry kit was probably one of the best that they put out. So yeah, I'll put it in the good spot. Now back to this, the Tom and Jerry show. Um, I actually remember reading an account where both Joseph Barbera and William Hanna presented ABC executives with their original shorts when they were pitching the Tom and Jerry show for their network, and and understandably, the executives very much enjoyed watching these shorts. They thought they were hilarious. And then they all sighed in disappointment because um, they all knew that the style of the the how do I put it? They knew that the style of violence and humor would not be accepted for broadcast television for kids. So yeah, it was over content regulations like that kind of made the show really lame. But then again, I never watched it, but I'm just kind of assuming and kind of judging it based upon what I've heard. So, what's next? Tom and Jerry Kids Show. I think yeah, that's right. I didn't watch that either. I'm gonna leave this off the list. I don't really know very much about it to make a judgment, and although I guess it was being made in that time where it was kind of a trend to make baby versions of classic cartoon characters like the Looney Tunes or Felix the Cat or whatever. So and it probably wasn't very good. Now, Karate Guard. This was actually the last um, short that Joseph Barbera worked on in for Tom and Jerry, and I watched it several times, and I don't know. I don't feel like it's really the best. I don't know. It's just I guess the violence is a bit toned down. Oh, no, maybe that doesn't apply. There was one thing that I can think of that was kind of gruesome, but I mean, it was kind of off screen. You didn't actually see it happen, but the implications of it was really sick. But other than that gag, I don't know. Also, the plot was just kind of weird. Like, so Jerry's like this karate student training under like this weird karate master who I guess is human, but his ghost. Oh yeah, and he's a ghost or whatever. His ghost is also like Jerry's size or whatever, and so yeah, he's being trained by a karate ghost. He's not able to take on Tom, so the karate master ghost gives him like a gong. Yeah, gong, right? Well, basically, it gives him um, an instrument that will summon a ancient warrior, and I guess this warrior is basically Spike. It's supposed to be Spike, and basically, he spends the entire short protecting Jerry from Tom. So yeah, the plot's just rather weird, and the humor, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. I mean, can't decide if it was bad or meh. So, well, let me think about it. Uh, I guess I'll put it meh. Now, this one, I don't know what it is. Like, what iteration of Tom and Jerry is this? I'm gonna have to get back to that. Didn't watch Tom and Jerry Wizard of Oz, so I'm not gonna make a judgment. You know, I watched a bit of this. Um, I don't know. It really couldn't hold my interest for long, so I can't exactly make the most fair judgment on it. But if it was something good, I bet it would have been. I would have been actually paying attention. So I'm just gonna say it was bad. Yes, I actually grew up watching this movie a lot. This was before I can really, decipher the quality between shorts. Well, I mean, I guess I was able to kind of see the quality difference between these shorts and the originals, but you know, actually, the Jones and H shorts, I in my childhood, those ones I came across later. So, if so, I started off with the originals, and then I got these direct to. Um, then I got these home release movies. So, um, I don't know. Maybe it's just nostalgia, but I don't really remember them being that bad. Plot was a bit weird, but felt like it at least had some actual effort into it. I don't know. I guess I'll just put it at the bottom of good list. Maybe at the top of the main list or spot. So yeah, I remember watching this one too. Although I watched it much later after these home releases, so I watched it on TV, so I didn't actually own it. This one actually, you know what? I don't think I like very much. I think I'll just put it here. It, I don't know. It's just it's been so long. But based upon what I remembered, it's just kind of bland, I guess. Like there's this really kind of dumb adventure story about finding a treasure with three pirates fighting over it. And I guess Tom and Jerry in between that do their classic back and forth. And it just didn't really stand out to me. Last Off to Mars. Another one of the home releases that I owned as a kid. Huh. Where do I put this? Uh, you know what? I feel like the Fast and Furious actually had more funny moments than this. So, and again, I find it a bit more watchable than something like this, and still sticks out in my mind. Might be nostalgia, so I think I'll just put it below this. Now, okay, what's this one say? Think this is Tom and Jerry and the Magic Ring. Eh, you know what? It's been a while since I watched it, but it just didn't really stick out to me. The jokes were kind of flat, I guess, and I don't know. So basically, like Jerry gets this magic ring stuck on his head, and he tries to get it off with him the entire movie because like I guess I guess that everyone, including Tom and a bunch of other side characters, sees it as some sort of valuable item to have, and they try to all like rip it off of him and everything, and becomes the center of attention. And it's just kind of ruins his life. Not only that, it's also just uncomfortable, I guess. So, but I don't know. It's just kind of unremarkable. So, but I feel like it was better than Jeremy Whiskers. So, Tom and Jerry Nutcracker Tale. Tom and Jerry Nutcracker Tale. How do I describe this? Now, there wasn't a whole lot of good old Tom and Jerry gags in the movie, unfortunately, because really, so Tom and Jerry, I guess, end up in a fairy tale land of sorts with nutcrackers and everything, and really the movie centers on Jerry rather than Tom. He's kind of, and Jerry meets like these pretty, from what I remember, kind of somewhat forgettable characters, and it just mainly focuses on them. Tom is just like the kind of like the secondary antagonist, and there's just not enough gags between the two. And plus, the plot was kind of weird and lame. What? Oh yeah, and there's one of there's also a moment where like one of Jerry's uh one of the members in Jerry's group ends up dying, I guess. But guess what? They She doesn't end up dying, so kind of just cliches like that are annoying. So yeah, but it's interesting to note it was the last Tom and Jerry film that Joseph Barbera and I think even William Hanna worked on. I think they actually um, made up the story for it, like the basic story. So I don't know. Maybe that information is kind of making me a bit biased and putting it above this one, but I don't know. I guess it felt like it had some effort from what I remembered. Mansion Cat. You know what? I'm not going to judge that one because been like I just haven't seen it in a while. I do know that Joseph Barbera has a voice cameo in there, so I guess he was probably cool with the short. He didn't actually work on it other than that voice credit, so. Speaking of Barbera, he was also an executive producer on this show, and I don't know. I mean, I got the chance to watch a few episodes not too long ago, and again, the violence is just like really toned down, and it doesn't have the right timing. It just doesn't. I mean, it's just been so hard to replicate what the originals had, and although I would say it's probably the one TV series that has come the closest. So I'd put it at the top of the May spot. You know what? That name is kind of dumb. I'm going to change it. Let's say average. Yeah. Yeah, okay, that's good. So, felt like I watched a bit of this, but not enough to make an opinion or to remember. But this, again, I didn't watch it, but you know, I feel like I would have to put it on here because I kind of know how much it's basically just a retelling of Willy Wonka, but with Tom and Jerry thrown in between all the key moments. It's really kind of a cynical cash grab. I suppose it has more effort than. You know, this is my first tier list I've made, and I forget if how the ordering works. I think it's like this would be the top of the abysmal spot, right? I think that's how it goes. So, man. No, or is it the other way around? Jeez. I think it's the other way around, so. But yeah, there was just no need for this sort of thing. Maybe I should put it in the garbage list, I'm not sure. I'll get back to that one. The Tom and Jerry Show, 2014. You know, when I first watched it, when I first watched a few episodes, I came to the conclusion that it was definitely not as good as this. I mean, the show uses flash animation, and that's already one strike against it. It just looks really cheap. The animations are just overly fluid and to the point where it's just nauseating to look at. And the colors that they use is also really bold and unrefined. So beyond the animation, at first I was um, I kind of respected how they brought back some, you know, characters. Like, it kind of made they kind of made characters like Butch and Whacker more prominent after they were pretty much forgotten. Well, I mean, Butch made some appearances in Tom and Jerry Tales, but Whacker has been pretty much MIA after the original theatrical shorts. So I kind of respected some of the ideas they try to do, like multiple scenarios where there's like a just a standard suburban life setting, and then there's another scenario where Tom and Jerry are like um, private investigators or whatever. So at first I was like, the show's doing some things different while um, working with some good old characters. So I kind of thought it wasn't too bad. But later on, I just kind of came to the further realization that it just was not good. Like, I mean, it utilizes some gross out humor and really, and besides the gross out humor, I mean, not that it gets like South Park levels or anything, but um, also the chase scenes are just really lame because, and this can be attributed to the animation because like they just kind of do a Flintstones style background where they're running in a hallway, right, and you can just tell it's like the same image kind of being repeated over and over. Like that was fine when Flintstones did it, and that was like the era where limited animation was reigning supreme. But Tom and Jerry is not something you should do that with. Like you should really make some elaborate chase scenes, and so yeah, it's bad. Okay, I mean, and then there's just some episodes that are just. There were also just some episodes that were really stupid. Like I guess there's an episode where they get a drone or whatever, and they just spend the entire episode messing with a drone, and it's just I don't know. It just kind of feels like they just throw in a lot of just things that are going on in the modern world right now. I mean that's understandable, but it kind of just feels like they're thrown in without any real thought, and they just it's just that episodes like that just felt kind of pointless. It just felt like gag after gag rather than like an actual story. So yeah, bad animation, really mediocre plots and humor. So yeah, out of the two Tom and Jerry shows, this one is better. Probably not by much. You know what? I should probably move this down a peg or two. Maybe I don't know. Again, I haven't seen it, so I can't really judge. I'll just put it at the bottom of the average spot. I'm kind of debating if I should move it to garbage because really, it's a really bad show. You know what? I think I will leave it there. Yeah, it's just not worth it. I haven't watched Spy Quest or this Jack and the Beanstalk, the Stock type movie. I think this is something with Robin Hood. Didn't watch it. Sherlock Holmes. I remember being like really bored with this movie, so I'll just put it here, I guess. Oh, okay. So I'm pretty much running out of um pretty much running out of Tom and Jerry iterations and movies and shows put on here, mainly because I haven't seen them all. So I think this is going to be my last one, and that is the Tom and Jerry theatrical film. Oh man. I remember as a kid, I watched the ending to it. I don't know how, but I didn't own it. I just remember seeing the ending on probably someone else's television, and I was like, "Whoa, I didn't know there was an actual movie with these guys in it." And then I try to find out, and then I spent a good portion of a year trying to find out where I can find this movie, and then I eventually end up finding it in like a Target or Walmart. I bought it, and at the time I was just super happy to finally have it, kind of to the point where I didn't even really judge it. But now that I think about it, it's definitely not a good film. Like, so, okay, the plot is after Tom and Jerry destroy their house, they end up in an alley, and then they say something to each other. They both realize that they can talk, and then they spend the entire movie talking, or you know, kind of not that the original series didn't have Tom and Jerry talking here and there. Um, but this one took it to the point where it was just absolutely unnecessary. And then they throw in some story about some girl running away from her evil aunt and or whatever. There's some weird musical scenes in there too for whatever reason, and I've come to really not enjoy most musicals. So yeah. Now, oh yeah, and they're not really fighting for most of the movie other than like the opening because I guess they're trying to help this girl or whatever. So only at the beginning and very end do they actually fight, and it's like, wow, wasted potential, guys. The main appeal of Tom and Jerry, and you, and it's not even the main focus of the film. Instead, you just focus on like this runaway or whatever and trying to reunite her with her dad or something. It was not good. I would say it's probably at the bottom of bad spot. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much my list. I can't really comment on the rest of these. I'm not really sure what this one is. That might be their appearance in that one, I think, Gene Kelly movie, right? Anchors Away. But I'm not sure. I didn't watch that, so I can't really comment. I don't think that's it, because I don't remember an underwater scene with them too, so... Although, that would have been a good thing to include. But again, I didn't watch it, so I can't really judge it. Seems kind of cool, though, from what I've seen of it. Some final thoughts, like going back to the Chuck Jones Tom and Jerry. Um, yeah, like there were some episodes that I had fun watching, like the ones where they're like in space and like in the future. Those ones were I found a bit memorable, and I really liked the short "Nobody Loves Me." I think that was really well animated, and although it probably wasn't, although it's not the best example of Jones' use of music in his cartoons. I feel like out of all the Tom and Jerry cartoons, that one At least the one he worked on, that one made the best use of music, and it really complemented the short well. And also just has a really good ending, I think. You know, uh, I like I, it's just kind of a warm ending, and every other every once in a while when I watch this, it just kind of leaves me with good feeling. I also like what was it? I'm Just Wild About Jerry. That one was fun. They basically end up going into an apartment mall and just using various items within the mall to, torture each other. I thought that one was fun. Again, um, nothing, nothing coming close to anything like this, but still, I think the Chuck Jones Tom Jerry's was like the best iteration to come out after the original MGM shorts. Speaking of that, MGM, the MGM originals that I really liked, the Cat Concerto. Yeah, that one. That one is definitely marvelous. Like, the like a lot of these shorts focus on the back and forth between Tom and Jerry, but that one was one of the finest examples of their back and forth. It was just and was all confined to just the piano and the, like the kind of climax part of that. The climax of that short was incredibly well done and just made such good use of Hungarian Rhapsody number 2. Was pretty stellar. Although I'm not sure if I would consider it my favorite Tom and Jerry short, because although it was one of the best Tom and Jerry shorts for sure, I don't feel like it's like, you know, I don't know how to phrase it, but I feel like not a Tom and Jerry short that best embodies Tom and Jerry. Like, it's certainly, I guess what I mean by that is just like kind of conventional, they run around the house trying to kill each other type thing. Just something like that. Yeah, something with like chasing gags and everything. So what would be one of my favorites in that? Honestly, I'm not really sure. I can't really think of one off the top of my head. Um, yeah, so Cat Concerto is definitely one of my favorites, but I would hesitate to say it's my absolute favorite. Um, well, I guess I do have a few more things to say, but I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm dragging on. Dragging on. Dumb pun, I know. But kind of getting bored here. Um, well, I guess I'm just gonna wrap up. There's probably tons of other things I could say, but I don't know. I don't want to get to the point where I'm just kind of rambling on, and felt like I've already been doing that. So yeah, I'm just gonna end it here. I guess come back when I do a tier list for the Tom and Jerry characters. Oh, one note. If the audio quality in this video was terrible, I apologize. I I had a headset, but for whatever reason the mic just was not working, and I just got too frustrated to even keep on trying with it, so I'm really just using the built-in mic in my computer. Hopefully the various filters I set up made it so you won't hear the fans of my computer running. Anyways, bye, and I guess stay safe.